It's on a question of safety that I visit the museum here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm standing beside the car that won the first ever race in 1911, driven by Ray Harroun. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway has become synonymous with spectacular accidents and many fatalities since the inception of the race. And in fact, 46 people, drivers and riding mechanics, have died here in the Speedway since that time. But I want to ask the question here, what is the comparison of today's cars with the cars of yesteryear? First of all, let's look at the strength. Look at this chassis down here. Look at those springs. Look at that axle. Tremendously strong, built to last. But even at those slow speeds, spectacular accidents still did occur.
In one of the early races, a riding mechanic fell out of a car and caused a chain reaction which was to leave cars in disarray, but still in one piece.
Some 50 years later, the cars had become sleeker, better aerodynamically, almost twice as fast, but still they were built like battleships. Even in the most ferocious accidents, pieces never seemed to fall off. With the arrival of the 80s, we've seen new forms of construction in racing cars. Now they're deformable structures in a way. This race driver sits very far forward, and it may look very dangerous for him in the fact that his feet are in fact ahead of the front axle. If he were to contact the wall, you would think a lot of serious injuries. But it's a trade-off safety. These motor cars today are deformable structures. When they strike the wall, they in fact concertina in a way. Wheels shed themselves, suspensions collapse, and the energy is used up by the deformable structure itself.
The start line accident of 1966 demonstrated for the first time that wheels could shear off and fall from the sky like rain in a thunderstorm. No one was hurt in this accident. Then in 1972, Mike Mosley hit the wall at turn 4. The car seemed to be almost sliced in half, and yet the driver was able to walk away. Tom Snever produced the most graphic demonstration of how a race car could collapse around the driver in 1975. The engine circled, actually stole away from the car. Remarkably, the driver was able to walk away from his fragmented machine.
The racetrack itself here at Indianapolis has changed little over the years, but the race cars have changed dramatically, from the bedstead construction of the 1911 car of Ray Harroun's to the sleek, fragile look that today's cars have. But it's that fragility that probably has saved more life than anything else for the drivers here at Indy. These cars destroy themselves around the driver in the case of an accident, taking all the energy and impact away from the driver by diffusing it on the deformable structure. We've come a long way since 1911. Of the 46 people killed, only 3 have died in the last 10 years. We've come a long way in the 20th century. The cars will become safer as we come to the end of that century.